India made history with its successful Chandrayaan-3 moon landing. But what about the mission objectives? Will India continue lunar exploration with Chandrayaan-4? Let's see achievements of current mission and ISRO's future plans. The Chandrayaan space program is India's lunar exploration program, initiated and operated by the Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO. Interestingly, Chandrayaan translates to mooncraft, or moon vehicle, in Sanskrit. The concept of a lunar scientific mission was first proposed during an Indian Academy of Sciences meeting in 1999. This proposal gained momentum in 2000 when the Astronautical Society of India took up the initiative. To conduct such mission, India established a deep space network and incurred a total project cost of 360 crore Indian rupees, which is equivalent to 45 million US dollars. On the 22nd of October 2008, Chandrayaan-1 achieved a successful launch aboard the PSLV rocket. Following a series of maneuvers and a trans-lunar injection, Chandrayaan-1 entered lunar orbit on the 10th of November. This milestone positioned India as the fifth nation to successfully enter the orbit of our moon. Just 4 days later, on the 14th of November, the Moon Impact Probe, MIP, impacted the lunar surface near the Shackleton crater in the southern polar region. This marked India as the fifth country to reach the lunar surface, and notably, the first to reach the lunar South Pole. The MIP's most significant discovery was confirming the presence of water on the moon, although this revelation was not publicly disclosed until NASA's Moon Mineralogy Mapper onboard Chandrayaan-1 orbiter confirmed the finding on the 24th of September 2009. Originally planned for a 2-year mission duration, contact with the orbiter was lost on the 28th of August 2009, officially concluding the mission. Following the success of the Chandrayaan-1 mission, there were plans for a subsequent mission prepared for a 2012 launch. ISRO had already completed the spacecraft's design in 2009, finalized the payloads, and aimed for a 2013 launch date. As per the agreement, ISRO was responsible for the launch, orbital insertion, and a rover deployment, while Russia's Roscosmos was tasked with providing the lander. However, the project saw a setback when Russia faced delays in the lander's development because of technical issues. These complications caused a delay in the overall mission timeline. As the Russian agreement dissolved, India found itself solely responsible for the project, including the development of the lander technology. In 2018, the mission encountered its second delay when ISRO implemented design modifications to the spacecraft and adjusted its plan for the lander's lunar orbit. On the 22nd of July 2019, Chandrayaan-2 was successfully launched atop the LVM-3 rocket. Chandrayaan-2 reached lunar orbit on the 20th of August. However, on the 6th of September 2019, during the descent toward the lunar surface, contact with the lander was severed when it crash-landed. According to ISRO Chairman K. Sivan, the lander had been operating as expected until it was just 2.1 kilometers above the surface, at which point it began to deviate from its intended trajectory. 2 months following the Chandrayaan-2 setback, a proposal for the third mission emerged, with the primary components focusing on the lander and rover. This was a shift from the previous mission, where the orbiter carried a more substantial scientific payload. Chandrayaan-3 was launched aboard an LVM-3M4 rocket on the 14th of July 2023, lifting off from the Satish Dhawan Space Center's second launch pad in India. After orbiting Earth a few times, Chandrayaan-3 maneuvered into a translunar injection orbit on the 5th of August. This successful maneuver placed the Chandrayaan-3 spacecraft into lunar orbit. ISRO's mission objectives for Chandrayaan-3 were the following. 1. Develop and deploy a lander designed to execute a safe and soft landing on the lunar surface. 2. Demonstrate the rover's mobility and driving capabilities on the moon's surface. 3. Conduct experiments and observations on lunar surface materials to enhance our comprehension of the moon's composition and properties. On the 23rd of August 2023, the lander initiated a crucial sequence of maneuvers as it approached the lowest point of its lunar orbit. At an altitude of 30 kilometers above the lunar surface, its 4 engines fired in a braking maneuver. It employed 2 of its 4 engines to slow down its descent. The lander carefully identified an optimal landing location before proceeding with its final descent, ultimately making a successful touchdown. With the spacecraft securely positioned on the lunar surface, ISRO's diligent efforts have borne fruit, and India has become the fourth country to achieve a precise and soft landing on the moon. This accomplishment follows in the footsteps of the former Soviet Union, the United States, and China. This achievement was far from given, especially considering the challenging lunar landing attempts in recent years. 4 of the last 6 lunar landing attempts in the past 5 years ended in failure. The most recent setback occurred on August 19th, when Russia's Luna 25 spacecraft encountered engine issues and crashed into the lunar surface. Luna 25 now rests among the failed missions that include Israel-based SpaceIL's Bereshit, India's Chandrayaan-3, and the private Japanese firm iSpace's Hakuto-R spacecraft. Chandrayaan-3's success aligns with the achievements of China's Chang'e-4 and Chang'e-5 landers, which stand out as the only other recent lunar landing successes in this challenging road. Following its successful landing near the Moon's South Pole region, Chandrayaan-3's Vikram lander executed the deployment of the Pragyan rover. The rover, equipped with integrated cameras, embarked on its mission to explore the cratered lunar surface. It diligently captured videos of its lunar surroundings and began executing the planned research objectives, designed for a 2-week stay on the Moon. On the 25th of August, 2023, ISRO shared the first video footage of the rover, depicting its departure from the Vikram lander and its initial drive onto the lunar surface. Additionally, ISRO released video clips from the lander's perspective as it approached and touched down on the Moon's surface, creating dust plumes upon landing. Later, ISRO reported that the rover's 2 scientific instruments had been activated and it had traveled a distance of 8 meters, marking significant progress in the mission. On the 3rd of September, the rover was placed into a sleep mode after successfully fulfilling all of its assigned tasks. ISRO reported that the rover's batteries were recharged and its receiver was left active in readiness for the upcoming lunar night. ISRO has shared valuable data derived from the observations conducted by Chandra's Surface Thermophysical Experiment, or CHASTE for short. CHASTE's primary mission was to investigate the heat conductivity of the lunar surface and record temperature variations at different points both on and beneath the lunar surface. The initial dataset released by ISRO revealed a stark contrast in temperatures just above and below the lunar surface. An illustrative graph disseminated by ISRO illustrated that surface temperatures exceeded 50 degrees Celsius, whereas just a few millimeters beneath the surface, temperatures dropped to nearly -10 degrees Celsius. This finding sheds light on the intriguing thermal dynamics of the Moon's surface. Even though this knowledge about the Moon's thermal characteristics was already known, it's important to note that this mission marked a significant milestone as it provided the first direct measurements of temperatures for both the topsoil and the subsoil near the lunar South Pole. On the 29th of August, ISRO announced a significant discovery made by the laser-induced breakdown spectroscope instrument on board the Pragyan rover. This instrument unambiguously confirmed the presence of sulfur in the lunar surface near the South Pole, marking a first-ever in-situ measurement. While the presence of sulfur on the Moon was previously known, this discovery represents the first time it has been detected at the lunar South Pole, adding a new dimension to our understanding of lunar composition in this region. In addition to detecting sulfur, the Pragyan rover has identified several other elements on the lunar surface near the South Pole. These elements include aluminum, calcium, iron, titanium, oxygen, etc. So far, all of the primary objectives the ISRO set out for the mission have been met. Prime Minister Narendra Modi made a noteworthy announcement, designating the touchdown location of the Vikram lander as the Shiv Shakti point. The term Shiv Shakti is a composite of 2 Hindu deities' names, Shiva, who is closely connected to the Moon, and Shakti, the divine feminine energy often represented as Shiva's consort. Additionally, he declared the 23rd of August, the day the Vikram lander successfully landed on the Moon, as National Space Day. These declarations commemorate India's achievements in space exploration and highlight the significance of this historic lunar mission. The planned reactivation of Chandrayaan-3's Pragyan rover and Vikram lander, originally scheduled for the evening of September 22nd, but it has been postponed to the following day due to several reasons. Efforts are made to re-establish communication with both the lander and the rover. However, as of now, no signals have been received. The Vikram lander and Pragyan rover have remained in a deep sleep mode for nearly 2 weeks. This is like taking something from a freezer and attempting to use it right away. During this time, the temperatures would have dropped significantly, potentially reaching below -150 degrees Celsius. Scientists hope that instruments will gradually warm up from the solar heat, and the batteries will also receive a recharge. If both of these conditions are successfully met, there is a reasonably good chance that the system will become operational once again. The operational lifespan of the system was already limited to just 14 days due to the extreme lunar conditions, and within that time frame, it successfully collected and transmitted all the intended data. Nevertheless, some scientists maintain a hopeful outlook, believing that there is a 50-50 chance the equipment may become operational once more. If it does indeed resume functioning, it would be a significant boon for the mission, allowing for the repetition and continuation of valuable experiments and data collection on the lunar surface. After this success, the ISRO and the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency are set to collaborate on the Chandrayaan-3 mission, also known as the Lunar Polar Exploration Mission. This mission, expected to launch around 2026, marks another significant joint effort in lunar exploration, building on the successes of previous Chandrayaan missions and international cooperation in space exploration. The upcoming Chandrayaan-4 mission, or Lunar Polar Exploration Mission, will serve as a continuation of the lunar exploration efforts initiated by Chandrayaan-3. Chandrayaan-4 will further expand upon these missions, aiming to enhance our understanding of the Moon's characteristics and geology. Apart from lunar missions, ISRO is working on the Indian human spaceflight program for launching crewed orbital spacecraft into low Earth orbit. The program includes 2 uncrewed missions slated for launch in 2024, followed by a crewed flight in 2025. This ambitious endeavor aims to establish India's presence in human spaceflight and contribute to the country's space exploration capabilities. If executed successfully, India will join an exclusive group of nations, including the Soviet Union, Russia, the United States, and China, as the 4th country to independently conduct human spaceflight. Beyond this milestone, ISRO has ambitious long-term plans, including the initiation of a space station program, crewed lunar landings, and eventually crewed interplanetary missions. What do you think about Chandrayaan-3? Do you agree that India did a good job on this mission? We want to hear your opinions. If you enjoyed this video, you might want to know more about lunar missions.